I want to talk about what happens when we get stuck in this mental place of our thoughts running the show and our thoughts and our fears dictating how we show up and how we act around either a man in our life that we are in a relationship with or with men that we are dating. So I was having this conversation with a client who was really having a trouble with getting out of a mental stuckness pattern of thoughts. And this can be really easy to get stuck in because lots of times we have been going throughout our day, going throughout our life, doing our thing, right? And we start dating someone and something happens and we get hurt and something in us closes down and we feel like we need to protect our heart. And this is really, really natural, right? Like it's just a natural thing that we have learned over time. If I get hurt, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to go there again. So we then from that place continue on in our life, and maybe something else happens and we get really severely disappointed, or we lose trust, or different types of patterns come through from our parents that, show up in our life. And so as we're continuing down this dating pattern and this dating timeline with different men, we end up just kind of piling up all of these experiences until one day we're in this place where we are carrying all of this baggage and layers of heaviness around relationships and around love in an effort to try and protect our heart. So this is something that is oftentimes very subconscious. It's not something we even recognize that we're doing. But the problem with this is that it's very detrimental to our relationships, because if we are not aware of it, we keep carrying all of this, whether you call it emotional baggage or just layers of mental beliefs and limiting thoughts. We carry this into our next relationship and it influences the way we think, feel, and act around that next partner. And men, bless their hearts, are so intuitive and they can feel it. They can feel when your energy is just not in alignment with your heart. And that's what happens when we allow these layers of baggage and heaviness and protection to get in front of us. We're not actually able to allow our hearts to shine through. And if we can't allow our hearts to shine through, then men can't feel our heart and they can't actually fall in love with us. And so it's almost like you're going out there and you're really just trying to connect with men, but you have a big wall right in front of your heart. So let's talk through this. Where are these mental patterns coming from? And what do you do to get out of it? So if you are aware of your patterns, many people are, but it's still hard to get out of them, right? If you're not aware of your patterns, start to notice. Think back through the past people that you've dated, past relationships you've had, and notice if there's any trends. And that will be a good indicator of what may be your pattern. And if you do recognize your pattern, start to notice what are the thoughts that are coming through when I get kind of agitated or nervous, or I start coming up against that wall with this next person that I'm with. What is my mind telling me? What are the fears behind those thoughts telling me? And a lot of times those fears are not really true. It's not going to happen over and over and over again the way that it's been showing up in your reality. It's just because you've been allowing these thoughts and fears to move through and actually show up in your life. So what are those mental thought patterns trying to say? A lot of times they're trying to protect you. They're trying to protect you from getting hurt again. But what you need to do in this moment when you start hearing and feeling these thoughts coming up, I want you to recognize that this is not reality. This is just a product of past experiences. And not every person is going to show up the same way. And I want you to start actually talking yourself through these thoughts and talking yourself out of going down that path where you know where you go into your pattern of beliefs, and actually see if you can shift yourself to believe something different and to think something different. And this is really powerful, and it can be hard to do if you've been stuck in a way for a long time, and that's where I can be here to support you through that. But when you can actually catch yourself in the moment with the thoughts that are not serving you, that you know are not serving you, and stop and say, you know what? nope, I choose to believe something else now. I choose to believe that that's not true anymore for me. Then right in that moment, you're creating a new story and you're shifting yourself out of your pattern. You're shifting yourself out of your stuckness and into a new way of being. And that is the place where everything can 180 and shift. So if this is something that you want some more support with, I want to support you. I want you to reach out to me, send me a message, send me an email, and let's talk more about this. Because this is something that will make or break your relationships for the future. And if you continue to move through life without analyzing your thoughts, without being aware of the way that you're coming off in your relationships, then you're not going to have any shifts and you will continue to stay in that place. But if you can catch those thoughts and you can pivot them and shift your beliefs and release those fears and old beliefs that aren't serving you, that's where the magic happens.